Greetings, friends. It is I, Moon Knight, with Mini Khonshu and the King. We just watched episode 5 of Moon Knight called Asylum, and I was bored out of my mind. Again, another episode with no actual Moon Knight in it. 5 hours now, roughly, and about 10 minutes of Moon Knight, and the 10 minutes we saw simply sucked. Let's go to the table and review this terribly boring episode.
All right, everybody, I am Eric. I am back to talk about episode 5 of Moon Knight called Asylum. This episode was boring, painfully boring, pretentious, pseudo-intellectual, has no Moon Knight in it, and it's boring. It's terrible. One more episode to go, and then I can conclude this might be the worst MCU series. We're so close. I think it's possible. Stay with me, my friends. All right, episode 5, Asylum. We have meager Mark Spector, who was shot last episode. Now he's in some purgatory that is an insane asylum, and he's talking to his psychiatrist, who happens to be Ethan Hawke, Harrow, for reasons. And Harrow is saying, superheroes aren't real. You're crazy, Mark. And then we have an awkward, sloppy edit, a jump to the hippopotamus lady. And we have meager Mark and scared Steven and the hippopotamus lady, who's a goddess, a guide to the afterlife. And they open the doors of the asylum and they go out onto this boat that's not going across an ocean, but it's an ocean of sand on their way to the afterlife. The hippopotamus says, I created this asylum because it would be familiar to you. Sure. She pulls out their hearts. They're not bloody hearts. They're like stone hearts. Puts them on the scale, but the scales are not balanced, and that's a problem. Apparently, they have to be balanced. And guess what? I don't care. All right, scared Steven and Mark Spector have to go back into the asylum to face their memories to try to bring things to balance, I guess, because that's what we're told. We go in and we see Mark Spector sees people that he's killed, like dead bodies in chairs. Those are the people that he's killed in his past. And scared Steven's like, oh, you're so bad. Then they see a child running around, and we see that it's a young Mark Spector. And we see like flashbacks or memories of young Mark and his brother in a cave. And there's a flood, and his brother dies in the flood when they're very young. And his mom, who's a terrible, terrible human being, we're going to see coming up. She's terrible. She blames Mark, young Mark. They keep chasing memories. We see a Mark Spector leaving home as a teenager, and I don't care. For 2 minutes, this show tried to be a Moon Knight show. Mark Spector finds himself in a memory in a desert with there's bodies in the desert, and this was when he was working for Bushmen. Oh, they mentioned Bushmen. Can you believe that? And then we have Mark Spector shot before the temple of Khonshu, and apparently this is where Layla lost her dad, and Mark's saying to scared Steven, I tried to save her dad, I tried to save these people, but look, I'm shot and I'm at the foot of the temple of Khonshu, and we see Khonshu needs a warrior for vengeance, and Mark Spector makes the decision to be the avatar of Khonshu, and he rises to live again. All right, then we have an awkward and bad jump cut back to the hippopotamus lady on the boat. Scared Steven, Mark Spector. We learn that souls are coming from the sky as they're surfing the desert ocean. And the hippopotamus, I think, says, oh, there's too many souls or something's going on. So Mark Spector and scared Steven, they go back into the asylum. I don't know why they came out in the first place. They go back into the asylum, and we see some more memories of Mark's abusive mother banging on the door. It's yelling. It's making me uncomfortable. It's not entertaining. It's unsettling. And then once she gets in there, it's so cringy, her behavior. It's just so unpleasant. She grabs a belt, and she's going to beat this little boy. This is on Disney Plus. Who wants to watch this? All right. So the one thing we do see is that Mark Spector, as a little boy, created Stephen Grant as a way of escaping his mother's abuse. So we do see that. So that's how Stephen Grant came to be. Okay. From there, we cut to then scared Stephen talking to Ethan Hawke Harrow, and they have some boring dialogue. And then we cut to Mark Spector's mother's funeral. So Mark Spector is an adult. He is outside next to his car in the street. He will not come into the funeral because of his relationship with his mother. And we also see like 2 other Oscar Isaacs show up. So we have a total of 3 Oscar Isaacs in this scene. I think 2 are Mark Spector's and 1 is a Stephen Grant. And I really don't care. Then we're back on the boat, and these zombies come onto the boat. They could be the victims of Mark Spector's past. They come onto the boat, and they're trying to grab Mark Spector, but then Scared Stephen saves Mark Spector, because again, both of these personalities are pathetic and weak, but Scared Stephen picks up a cricket bat or stick, starts beating the zombies, but no good deed goes unpunished. Scared Stephen goes overboard into the ocean of sand. He turns into stone. So bad for him. But the scales, remember I talked about scales? The scales are finally balanced, and Mark Spector wakes up in a cornfield. The end. Could any of you follow what I was talking about? This was a chore to watch. This review here was a chore to give to you. One more episode. Hopefully it's short and we can end this. The good news is Layla wasn't in it. The bad news is the editing was bad, the pacing was bad, the script was bad, the dialogue is bad. There's no Moon Knight. You see him for a second. Again, we're 5 hours now, roughly, into this series, and we've seen probably 10 minutes of Moon Knight, and what we've seen is not good. Is not good. This is boring. There's nothing interesting in this episode. And I tell you, there's nothing interesting in this entire series. I don't care. Moon Knight is one of my top 3 or 4 Marvel characters. You know I've got the dolls and the action figures. And this series makes me not care about one of my favorite Marvel characters. What is going on? This show is a fraud. If you wanted to see Moon Knight, it's not here. Is this the worst MCU show? We'll wait until next week to talk about that. But let me tell you, Hawkeye sets a low bar. This one's coming really close. All right, everybody, as always, let me know in the comments what you thought about this terrible episode. It sucks. Did you stay awake? Did you fall asleep? Everybody, have a great day, a great week. I will see you soon. And as always, I will see you on the new.